Is retention causing problems in your business? Is it causing cash flow, specifically problems in your business? That's what we want to talk today about, is retention. And when people get into the construction world, I don't think they always realize how big of an impact retention will have on their cash. And when you are bidding a project and you are thinking about the margin that you will take on that job. So retention will be somewhere between, I typically see 5 and 10%. And I see 10% more often than I see 5%. And so when you are thinking about the margin that you need to make on your project, and you are only making 10% margin and 10% profit, you aren't going to get any of that until the end of the job. You're going to cash flow this whole project and you're not going to see any profits. So that's the first area I want you to be thinking about, is when you are putting out your bids, putting out your estimates, I want you to have that in the back of your mind, that 10% of the money coming in, you are not going to see until the very end of the project. I'm hoping that I can also give you a few tips in here to see it a little sooner, but the way of the world, unfortunately, the way of the construction world, majority of times you don't see it until the very end. So one thing that you can do to help that is think about your bid going out and what that margin, what that profit is going to be on your bid going out the door, so that you can start recognizing some profit to cover your overhead costs as the project is going along. Because not only do you have your project costs that you need to make sure that you cover, but you also need to cover your overhead payroll, your overhead rent, your office supplies, anything that is overhead costs throughout the duration of the project. Secondly, I want you to review your contracts in full. Not only do you need to understand your contract as a whole for running your business and running the project, but look specifically at the portion on retention. What does it say? Is it no retention? Is it 5% retention? Is it 10% retention? What does that look like? When can you start billing on retention? Is it substantially complete? Is it at the very end of the project when everyone is done and the owners pay out retention? What does that look like in your contract? And then not always will you be able to negotiate the contract, but it doesn't hurt to ask the questions. It doesn't hurt to try. So ask the questions. Once I get to 50% complete, can I bill for half of the retention? Once I get to 80% complete, can I bill for half of the retention? If you are a trade that is done in the early part of the project, you want to make sure that you don't have to wait until the entire project is done. So maybe it's a project that is 18 months long, and you're in the very front part of that project. So you're not going to get paid on retention for 20 months, 2 years. So talk about that a little bit too, and what does that look like? Once I am 100% complete with my role, can I get 7.5% of the retention? So you want to be asking those questions. You want to be looking for that and see if there's any room for negotiation on retention. Also, you want to be watching the job as it progresses, and once again, ask the questions as when you get to that point in the project. It's 80% complete. You haven't billed for any retention. 10% has been held. Can we start billing for retention? You don't know until you ask. And a lot of times, even though they may be slow to pay, they will let you go ahead and bill out retention. So that just gets your billing out there quicker. the payment received quicker. It's a good practice to have, to be watching your job as it's going and be following up on that retention and that billing. Retention can cause a lot of problems with cash in the construction industry, and we don't want that to happen to you. So stay on top of your retention, stay on top of your billings. I hope this was helpful for you. Homework. Go through your jobs. See where you're at. See if there's anywhere that you can go and bill and ask for a retention and get that money coming in the door. I hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.